everyone, today we are going to be doing a book called The Power of Now, and it's going to be a very short and quick summary of all the chapters combined. So, the book's main idea is that everybody, they are stuck in their head and they're living in yesterday's regret or tomorrow's worries, meaning the past and the future. And they are only missing the actual moment that is real, which is the present. They're completely missing out on it. And if you're honest with yourself, you've probably done that too. We all have, even I have. Everyone has been living in their past or their future at some point. But here's the thing, life only ever happens in the present. And that's the doorway to peace. That's the doorway to happiness, to actually living instead of just surviving. So let's walk through this together step by step. First, I want you to realize that humans have this habit. It is in them. It's their habit. We replay the past. We fast forward into the future. 1 minute, we're regretting something. You might have been regretting something, like something that you said 3 years ago, or something from your school life, or something you said to a friend a long time ago. And the next minute, we're just stressing about a test or a job interview or a result that has to come for an exam that you gave. And these things, they haven't even happened yet. They're far off in the future and we start stressing about them right now. But why? So the truth is that neither of the past or the future, these two places, they aren't real. The only place that is real is the present, the moment that you are in. The past is just a collection of old present moments that are gone. The future is just a collection of present moments that haven't arrived. They are basically just your imagination yet. It's not even confirmed that your imagination is going to be true. Now, think about it. When you feel joy, like the feeling of joy, it will always be in the present. You cannot feel joy or you cannot feel the actual pain physically of the past or the future. Whatever you feel like humanly in your body, physically, it is always now. You feel joy, you feel pain, it's always now in the present. Your brain, your body, your 5 senses, they cannot work in the past or the future. They can only work in the present. And that is how it is. And here's what psychology tells us. This is fact-based. You can literally search it up. When your brain is wandering, meaning when you're overthinking about countless things, there's so many thoughts inside your head, thinking about the past or the future, or like thinking about some business project that you have to do and your mind is all over the place, your default mode network, this is the word, default mode network, it is a part of your brain, it lights up. And this part of your brain is linked to anxiety and depression. But when you focus on the present, like when you're immersed in a hobby, when you're laughing with your friends or your family, or you're listening to music, or you're watching a movie, that part of your brain quiets down because you're not overthinking anymore. You're not letting your mind think about a million things at once. And when you do not let your mind think about a million things at once, what happens? It's at peace. The stress drops. You feel lighter and you feel more alive. So if you want peace, the first step is learning to live in the present moment and forget about the past or the future. I'm not saying to completely forget about making your future plans. Obviously, you have to plan out the future. But to worry constantly about countless things about the future, that's the wrong thing. And that avoids you from having peace in your life. Now, we want to see that if we are living in the present, what about pain? Because I just said that if you live in the past or you live in the future, you are at peace. But then your question might be that sometimes in the present moment, you do experience struggles, you do experience pain. There's always a time when something bad comes upon you. It's not possible that your whole life can be happy and peaceful. So you will have a struggle in your life. And what if that is happening in the present moment? So is it not gonna hurt? Well, yes, it will hurt. But the thing is that the pain itself, it's not gonna be that much. It's not gonna be that huge. Most of the pain, we basically make it up in our heads. And it's very unnecessary pain. And we make up all that pain inside our heads. And maybe the thing it's not even that big of a deal. Maybe the thing is so small, but your mind inside you turns it into a big disaster. And this is because your mind is showing resistance to the present moment. Now let me explain it to you. It might be a bit complicated, but I'll explain it to you. So imagine you spilled coffee on your shirt before a big meeting. And now the situation itself, it's a very small situation. You dropped coffee on yourself. It's fine. It's a humanly mistake and it happened, okay? You dropped it on your shirt before a big meeting. Now, that's the situation, a very small situation. But you know what your brain is going to do? Your brain is going to make it look like such a huge, massive thing. And how is it going to do that? It's going to bring up the past and the present. The brain is going to be like, this always happens to me every time. And now you're going to be thinking about the previous time that it happened to you. Then it's going to think, oh, why am I so clumsy? Everyone is going to laugh at me. It's thinking about the future, like when you're going to arrive at the office and everyone is going to laugh at you. Or that your boss is going to shout at you or something like that. Everyone's going to laugh at me. I can't believe that this happened to me today out of all days. And suddenly, it's not even about the coffee that's spilled on you anymore. It's not even about the situation anymore. Your brain has completely turned this into a storm of shame, frustration, and self-hate. And that is what our minds do. Maybe your present moment struggle isn't even that big, but your brain turns it into something so massive. For example, another example could be like you're stuck in traffic. That's the present moment right now. That's a struggle that you're facing right now. You could make a good use out of it. You could distract yourself. You could see how it can be solved. But the wrong way to deal with it is that when your mind is going to wander off into the past and the present, it's going to start thinking that I always get stuck in traffic. It's going to think about the last time you got stuck in traffic. It's going to think about now I'm going to get late and this and that is going to happen. So it's going to give you anxiety and stress thinking about the future. Then you're going to think about that I should have left earlier. That's the regret of the past. And basically, that's what your brain does. It keeps going in the past, in the future, over and over and over again, making you go crazy, making you so stressed and not giving you a moment of peace. And this is what we want to avoid. The actual event is very small, but the mind's resistance to it makes it so huge. And that's how most of our emotional pain is born, by fighting reality instead of accepting it. Now let's talk about another idea of the book, which is called the pain/body. And don't worry, this is not a mystical or confusing concept. It's a very simple one, and I'm going to explain it to you. Now think of the pain/body concept as the collection of old emotional wounds you've ever carried. And what could that be? Your old emotional wounds are going to be things like sadness, anger, rejection. Maybe you were rejected in your childhood, so you have an emotional wound of rejection, which leads to fear of rejection in your adulthood life from people, from schools, and stuff like that. And betrayal. These could be like your emotional wounds. We're going to basically, the pain/body means your emotional wounds, meaning sadness, anger, rejection, betrayal, all that type of stuff, okay? Now, every time something happens in the present moment that even reminds you of these old wounds, your pain/body wakes up. What does that mean? Now, in the present moment, if something happens, for example, if you were trying to be friends with someone and they said, no, I'm good, okay? So they've rejected to becoming your friend. You are going to be reminded of an old time that you were rejected and that hurt you. And your pain/body wakes up at that very moment by remembering the old moment that happened before. And suddenly you're not just upset about the current present thing. You're carrying the weight of years old hurt. You're not just upset about a thing that just happened right now. You're upset about everything that happened in the previous years of your life. And that's why sometimes our reactions feel way bigger than the situation. Maybe the situation isn't even that big, but our reaction to it is so big because it's not about the present moment anymore. We are thinking about everything that happened throughout the years of our life. For example, if someone ignores your message, you might feel an intense wave of anger or maybe sadness. And it's not just about the one message anymore. It's your pain/body saying, this feels just like the time that I was left out of school, I was ignored, or the time that this person abandoned me. And you're not thinking about that little message anymore. You're thinking about a million other things that happened to you before. And this leads to you feeling down, to you feeling stressed, to you feeling hurt. See how it's all linked now? The pain/body, it feeds on new pain, okay? It wants you to overreact, to sink deeper, because once you overreact to small situations, it grows. But here's the hope. Once you recognize that this surge of emotion isn't the full truth, and it's just your pain/body being triggered, once you realize this, you can pause it. Because awareness of a thing is the biggest step to stopping it. You can pause and you can breathe. And instead of spiraling, you can handle the situation with more clarity. Now, moving on. Now, we've got another thing, which is called the ego. And the ego, what is it? It is the voice inside your head that always wants to win and to be right. It wants to be right and it wants to be seen as something very important. The ego and the pain/body are like partners in crime. They work together. The pain/body, it wakes up, it feeds on your anger or sadness, and then the ego jumps in, okay? The ego will make, like, for example, your pain/body. Let's take the message example again. Someone ignored your message or they left you unseen, right? Your pain/body is first going to make you feel hurt and sad about it. It's going to make you overthink and make you feel sad. And then your ego is going to make you think like this. How dare they do that to me? Why the hell would they do that to me? And they hurt my pride. Who do they think that they are? You're going to start thinking stuff like this. Ego is linked to your pride in a way. So you would start thinking you should get revenge on that person. And now when that person is going to text me back, I'm going to ignore them. That's your ego there. And suddenly you're in full drama mode. Ever notice that how arguments over tiny things, like wash the dishes, or over the tone in the text, or over a tone in someone in real life when you're talking to someone and their tone feels a little off, and it just causes a huge massive argument and blows up into a massive fight. That's not you. That is your ego and your pain/body teaming up. But when you're present, when you notice your thoughts without automatically obeying them, you cut the cycle. You stop fueling the ego and the pain/body, and you regain control of it. So how do we do this? How do we separate ourselves from our minds? Now, how do you stop letting your mind and your ego and your pain/body control you? Because they should not be controlling you. Your mind is a tool. Your mind is like a phone that you have to use. You're not going to let the phone control you, right? You are supposed to control the mind yourself. Now, here's one simple exercise that I would like you to try, and that is basically in the book as well, that you need to close your eyes, okay? And you have to think what your next thought is going to be. Just close your eyes and think what your next thought is going to be. And then wait. And you'll notice that there's a pause between the thought that's going to come. And that pause is presence. That's you watching your mind instead of being trapped inside it. Another way is listen to your body. Your body is always in the present moment, and it cannot live in the past or the future. That's why deep breathing works. It's why moving your body, stretching, running, dancing, snaps you back into the now. It's why meditation is so popular, because it brings you into the present moment. It makes you focus on your breath right now, how you're breathing, how you're taking in the air and feeling it through your, going down your nose to your throat, to your lungs, and it brings you back to the present moment and makes you feel the peace. Even spiritual teachers taught this, okay? The Buddha only found enlightenment after reconnecting with his body. The message is basically the same. It's to not ignore your body. Use it to anchor yourself in the present. Do meditation. Sit down and focus on your breathing. Notice how the air is going inside and then how you're bringing it outside. And once you focus on that, you will notice that the noise in your head is gone and you're at peace. And that is how it's a way to control your mind and to be in the present moment. Another tool is what I like to call active waiting. Imagine that you're waiting to take an exam. Instead of worrying about failing in the future, you stay sharp and alert to the paper in front of you, 100%, okay? You're not worrying that, I'm going to fail this exam or this and that is going to happen. You're just sharp and alert of the paper in front of you. 100% focus on the present question. That is active waiting. Or picture a Zen master sneaking up on a student. The student with eyes closed senses the master approaching because they're fully present in their body. That's the level of awareness you can train. Being so rooted in the now that nothing slips past you. Now, how does this work? Okay? So you know where you're using most of your energy is to think about the past and worrying about the future. Now, like the exam example that I just gave, if you stopped worrying that, what if I'm going to fail in this exam or something like that, you're using your energy to think about that. You're using your energy up because your thoughts are energy, and you're using that up in thinking about this unnecessary thing. And once you stop thinking about it and you put all your attention onto the actual exam, you have diverted that energy into the exam, and therefore your energy on the exam has amplified, has become doubled. And this is more beneficial for you. You work better once you're completely immersed in the present moment. Now, let's talk about relationships and presence. Now, here's the truth. If you start living fully in the present, it can actually feel uncomfortable for your partner at first. But why? Because their ego, it feeds on conflict, on problems, on dragging up the past for no reason. Remember when you did this one thing to me? So that's the thing. If you're calm and you're peaceful, their ego might feel threatened. That why is this person being so calm and peaceful in front of me? And they'll try to pull you into arguments, like darkness resisting light. But if you stay present, something beautiful happens. You stop judging, you stop criticizing, you stop trying to change them, okay? The only moment that you're trying to change them is when you are associating them with their past self, their past mistakes, or future selves, like what they could be in the future, or what they could do in the future. And once you stop doing that, and you start looking at them, like right now, you just see them. Your presence, you basically stop trying to change them, and it changes the whole dynamic, and your presence becomes contagious, and slowly your relationship can grow in ways you never imagined. And that is how being in the present moment is even helpful in bringing relationships closer and making them better. Now, I need you to know that not all pain can be avoided, okay? Not all pain is self-created. It's not made by yourself. So, some of it is actually real. Some of it is just life, okay? Life throwing its struggles at you. A death of a loved one, a betrayal, an illness, these are things bound to happen, and therefore you need to struggle up against it. And you need to be patient and go through it, okay? In these moments, presence doesn't erase your sadness. Obviously, you're going to be sad at that current moment because you're a human being, okay? You'll grieve and you'll cry. But the presence keeps you from drowning in it, okay? You feel the pain without resisting it, without adding that second layer of suffering. Sadness will pass through you instead of living in you forever. Because sometimes when a struggle happens to you, you know you're gonna feel it, you're gonna be sad, and it's gonna pass through you. But you know what's the thing that actually is the bad part is when your mind starts resisting against the present moment and starts thinking about all possibilities, past memories with that type of person, future possibilities, how are you going to live without that person, and what are you going to do, and you start imagining a whole life ahead of you that hasn't even happened yet. And that is how you start drowning in the sadness. You add another layer of suffering to your pain and your struggle and your sadness. And your sadness begins living in you forever. And that is what you want to avoid. You want to just stay in the present moment instead of thinking about a million things about the past and a million things about the future. Now, moving on. Before I wrap it up completely, I want to make one thing very clear. Living in the present, right? It does not mean giving up or becoming passive. Yeah, I said that you're supposed to live in the present and you're not supposed to really think about the past or the future, but that does not mean that you become hopeless completely and give up and become passive. If you're stuck in the mud, you're not going to be like that, oh, well, I was meant to be stuck. No, you're not going to just accept your fate over there, okay? Being in the present does not mean that you cannot resist against it. Yes, you should try to solve the problem. No, you can actually, if you're stuck in the mud, you can calmly, clearly start moving one step at a time until you are free. Presence does not take your ability to act. It gives you the clarity and the energy to act better, just as the point that I discussed before. Because you start wasting energy on regrets and what ifs of the future. And you use all that energy that you were using on your thoughts into facing what's actually in front of you. And that is how you become better in your present moment. And you should not give up on something and become hopeless. You should use all your energy that you have into solving the problem in the present moment. So here's the core truth about this book, okay? Life, it only ever happens right now in the present moment. The past, it is gone. The future, it isn't here yet. If you live in the past, you'll drown in regret. If you live in the future, you'll drown in worry. If you live in the present, you'll find peace. You'll find strength and clarity. So I want to leave you with this, okay? Take a deep breath, look around right now in this exact moment that you're watching this video without dragging in the yesterday or tomorrow. And what do you notice? What do you feel? What do you hear? When you focus on it deeply, like just do it after watching the video. What do you hear, notice, feel when you look around and you just shut your thoughts up, okay? That piece over there, don't miss that piece. And this is a quick summary of the book. It is completed. This is what the book is trying to teach you, basically in an overall quick summarized way. And I hope you understood this quick summary and it actually helps you. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe and like if you enjoyed it.